All right, thank you, Ethan. Ethan, you can hear me all good? Just making sure.
Sound good?
Perfect, thank you. Thank you everyone for joining today, taking some time out of your busy day as we're approaching the holiday season. Again, thank you. I know everyone is trying to wrap things up, and we just have some exciting things of progress that we've done over the year that we want to share with you about Prometha. My name is Jason Knuth. I'm the Director of Digital Solutions. My responsibilities is really around the sales, strategy, service deployment, the IoT technical, and the Prometha solution in general. My contact information, I've been here with Cleaver Brooks for about 2 years, and we've really been growing and striding out the Prometha product and the solution. Also, I added some support emails there, so if you have new opportunities or technical support or privacy concerns or anything like from security standpoint, these are also some additional quick links that are shared inboxes that you can contact our general area. So today, what we're going to talk about is, first thing, the Industry 4.0, what that is. We're going to get into lifecycle management, talk about the Prometha journey. A lot of people have told me, how do I get started? What's the first steps? And that's where I'm going to talk about the Prometha journey to kind of help lay out a systematic approach to working with your customers and understand how Prometha can actually add value to them and you as well as your business. Cover some of the latest developments. There's a lot of stuff going on there, and then kind of talk about next steps. So we have a lot of information in the last hour to cover. So I'm going to go pretty quick, as fast as I can. Hopefully leave some time for questions. So crafting your digital identity. What is Industry 4.0? So to understand, first thing, I wanted to where Prometha came from and all this, where technology and the technology and digital era comes from. It started with the first thing of Industry 1.0. So if you remember way back in the 1900s, where mechanism powered, steam power, that's when the industries were deemed as Industry 1.0, when things were easier to do with steam. Then we get into Industry 2.0, which is really when they started using the electrical power. So comparable for our boiler systems, this is kind of where they actually started putting the FSGs, the basic flame safeguards, and some of the basic controls onto the boilers. Fast forwarding to Industry 3.0, this is where the automated productions and PLC and computers come in. So this is like our Hawk platform and different advanced controls where you're adding PLCs to make the boilers a little bit smarter and having a little bit more capability. And lastly is the Industry 4.0, where we're at right now. So I'm sure a lot of the customers that you're with and work with have their factories or the systems have many digital aspects. They have IoT, they have smart factories, they have machine learning, AI. People are talking about these things. And it's not just in our industry. There's industries all across the world, in automotive, HVAC, our boilers areas, industrial, healthcare. Many of these organizations have strategies along with how to basically improve the relationship between the customers and the products and the service people as well as in the products. Is how can we make it a better experience, and how can we help streamline the information and make servicing them and operating them and utilizing them easier and more efficient. So really that is the Industry 4.0, and then really to look at how is it impacting Cleaver Brooks. So in Cleaver Brooks, we're really looking at the asset lifecycle management and how does this actually impact and leverage across the lifecycle management. And so just to back up, what is lifecycle management? It's 4 phases, all the way from initially plan and designing of the boiler room to procuring and building and commissioning the boilers and assets, to obtaining and maintaining the equipment, which is usually the longest, and that's the 29 years when that equipment is in service. And then you get to the renew and replace. So the digital aspect of Industry 4.0 with Prometha and tools like that, our goal is actually to help in all those areas and help in all different areas. And what I'm going to explain in the next couple slides is how we have been doing that already this year. But when talking about this asset lifecycle management, we really want to highlight, where's the success? What's the value? Who gets the value? And the value is not just to the customer. it is to actually to the reps, you guys, and to Cleaver Brooks. So it's kind of a continuous loop, circle. So imagine from the customer, we have these boiler room insights. So insights of how the equipment is being used, how the equipment is being, and that really helps us understand to build a better product. We give that to the representatives to sell, and they can also build and enhance services. So the faster we learn about the products and the faster we build better products from these learnings, and then also help build enhanced services to make it more efficient to service them, the faster and more value that we can create for everybody involved, not just the customer, but it can help benefit everyone. So I wanted to give one example real quick about a time where we did a boiler commissioning. So this is up in the Rep Knapp area, where a boiler was commissioned. Basically, this boiler was put in new. It had some issues. It was a custom job, and it had some random fuel causing selection that was causing the boiler to trip. And so throughout that, I worked with Jill, and she asked me to set up a Prometha kit, and we put it on there so they can actually view the boiler without having to be standing in front of it, because they really couldn't figure out what exactly was happening, because it was happening probably within 10 seconds, and trying to figure out what was the actual root cause. So from this, the Prometha tool and technology was actually leveraging information from the customer. We were working with our engineering team here, and we're also working with the representative to come up with the solutions. But in the end, we were able to determine when it was tripping, what was the cause of the trip, and then we're able to send the rep up there to actually fix it during that time, and it wasn't multiple trips. So they could do it in one trip, and they can see it over the weekend, watch it, and then actually confirm that the solution to the fix actually solved the problem. From other areas in your region and areas. So how does a customer want to pick you? How would you differentiate them from wanting to pick up the phone, call you when they have a problem or a question? And so our goals are really to help help you differentiate yourself from that competitive landscape. Giving the clients the ability to not just do hardware, but giving them a full experience. Additionally, we really want to help cement that trust with actionable insights. So with Prometha technology, we don't want to just give you an app or a phone or something and say, here, then say, here, questions, we're here to support. And really, so that way you turn to your customer, and then you are looking like the trusted and being the trusted advisor. And that is what really drives that last one, which is fostering that long-term relationship. So our goals is that third phase of the when you're operating and maintaining it, when it gets time to replace and renew, who's the first person they're going to call? They're going to call you as the rep to understand, to help them size the next boiler or the replacements of these equipment, to kind of see you as an advisor and not just as a salesperson. So with that, I have another example that we've done of recent this year, which kind of goes into the replace and design. It's kind of like the two areas at the end. The customer basically was looking to remove a building from their complex, their footprint, and they had potentially extra boilers or extra boiler capacity, and the boilers are older, and they didn't really know what the next stages were, if they need to change the boilers out or what to do. And so the representative, Derek, he called me up and put another demo kit out there, connected it, and then we were able to work with their consultants and Derek and his team to be able to give recommendations for a future project, and also recommendations of what the system setup should be. So it helped build the confidence with the customer that the proposed solution was the actual solution, because they're actually able to see the data live, and they're actually able to see the conditions, like, okay, this weekend is really cold, now I can see what was the impact. Okay, it's really hot, I can see the impact. And so now, actually, from this engagement, I think Derek and the team have gotten a lot more phone calls, even not only from the customer, but also that consultant engineering company. And another area of the lifecycle management of operating and maintain, here's another example where CNC had worked with us, with a customer that had a large footprint of boilers. These boilers are currently in operation. They vary different ages, but they're on the older end of the age. And they were going to go there and do a BPO and review the boilers. Well, Alan asked if he can take a kit with him to be able to do what we call a BPO plus, which is not only just view what's going on in the operation, but also gather the data to actually have quantifiable evidence of here's the problem we see, and then here's what is the problem as the solution. But through the data, we were able to right away determine that they had some low response on the feed water. So when they did a blowdown, it would take about 30 minutes to recover from that. And so that weekend, they were able to fix that problem with a broken check valve in the main line. And with now, after that was the response time of that water was in less than 30 seconds. It went back to steady state. Otherwise, it was taking forever to get back to a steady state point. And then since then, this customer has actually come online and bought Prometha full time because they're leveraging it to kind of help run their plant, and then also when they're looking for future upgrades and installing future boilers, they're looking to see from a sizing standpoint how many boilers they need and kind of how their operation is handling it. So I just gave like 3 examples, kind of like how Prometha can be used and leveraged in the lifecycle management journey. And that's kind of really what our goals are, of trying to make it actionable and actually tangible value back to our representatives. So when I talk about supporting the lifecycle management, I really want to first talk about kind of our journey of where we've been. You know, where did Prometha start from? And Prometha, our drive to commitment of excellence, really starts with the Cleaver Brooks vision and mission. So the vision of delivering actionable insights and improving a customer's outcomes. That is our number one thing. So we want to deliver those insights and actionable results. So the mission is really building technology systems that impact the safety, reliability, efficiency, and sustainability through collaborative services. So I keyed on a few of those words and really try to take a lot of that to heart on understanding how through Prometha, we can have our vision that goes beyond just creating a mobile app or a website, but actually shaping the future of boiler operations by equipping operators with tools that really build their confidence and help representatives support them along the journey. But to really help us keep things in mind around lifecycle management, what me and my team do, everything we do aligns with what we call the core beliefs. And the first core belief that we have around this is education. So our goal is to educate and empower you with tailored knowledge to have unique insights for the specific applications of not even your customer, but also other applications. So that way you are well supported, and even your customers are well supported. So everything we do is around education. Additionally, we want engagement. So we're working with customers and reps to have insight, establish connections with expert supports to help boost that confidence and give that peace of mind. So it's not like we're just installing the technology and walking away, but also trying to help support you as a rep and also help support your customer as well. And finally, we want to empower. So again, all those first education engagement can take a lot of effort, but our goals is really to empower and enable the operations and the reps to really take control of their boiler safety and reliability, efficiency, and sustainability. So our goal in the empowerments of what tools and what technology can we deploy to help enable the empowerment of the industry to kind of do this on their own, so they have that confidence. You know, with the workforce of where it is, you know, there's a lot of not as many experienced Navy people coming out of the Navy. So this is where we really want to help how we can empower the new generation with information that helps them take on the next 20, 30 years. So this is our goal in everything that Prometha, why we develop Prometha, why we build what we build from a technology standpoint, and what processes we put in place. But now to really bring the Prometha technology to life, you know, how do you bring it to life and make it more than what it is? Well, it really starts with people. It starts with you guys. It starts with the team, the representatives, the engineers, like that first slide of the collaborative, the value. All three of those groups is harnessing that collective experiences, to help reshape the industry. The next thing is around process. Having a dedicated journey or tailored process to ensure that every client gets a similar experience, and also that you don't have to think too hard about what's the next thing I got to do, what's the next thing. Trying to help build that process and consistency. And then also with process, we also want to continually improve it, looking for shortcuts to make it go faster, make it go more efficiently. And then lastly, around technology. Building the apps, building having the databases, making it easy, having streamlining the insights and delivery to basically empower you to get the information anytime, anywhere you need it and want it. And this is kind of where I pause a little bit to just kind of, when people talk about, oh, I have that type of data collection system, or I have, a BMS system, or those things. Well, a lot of times those places just have what we call this technology. So that's where they'll install technology, but there isn't the change management processes of how are you going to leverage that technology? How are you going to empower your workforce to use that technology? And what processes in place are you going to be developing to actually look for that change and that growth? And so that is where we combine all three of those areas of people, process, and technology together to build what we call Prometha, which is digitally enhanced services. So driving all three of those aspects, and not just being a mobile app, not just being a technology tool, but actually help driving the innovation. And again, those enhanced services have to end in real results and value. So that our goal is always to be able to, with customers and engagements, to show the value. So that is really how we're doing it, is bringing together those three collective areas together to build out Prometha. But now, what are we doing to actually achieve this? And so this is the Prometha journey that I had talked about early on. So in the Prometha journey, it's really around what are the steps from starting engaging people with Prometha all the way down to get to real results. And so what I did here is break down, and I'll go through this one pretty quick as I go through it in a little more detail coming out here. But the first step is around discovery. Discovery is really understanding the customer's operational needs, current challenges, and system objectives. Sometimes I don't really want to always, first off, just here's a whole bunch of prices and here's a bunch of things we can do. I first want to sit down with the customers and understand what are their goals, and is it around reliability? Is it around sustainability? Is it efficiency? What are their pinch points? What is their challenges that they have? And then once I understand what that discovery phase of what are some aspects of improvements that can help them, support them, and that's kind of where we go on to onboarding. So once we know what that is, an onboarding, now I can actually understand the configurations, the integrations, and validations. So now once I have that, we can suggest some solutions. And then we, in onboarding, actually start implementing some of those demo cases or turning them on for free for like a month to get them, showing what it can do, start onboarding some documentation. But then when we do this onboarding, what we always want to do is circle back to discovery to understand what we just did. Does it actually solve what they're looking for? Is it validating their challenges? Is it validating their goals, what they're trying to get out of it? And having that continuous look back at the discovery phase really helps to make sure you're staying in line to get to the real results. And then once they've been onboarded and you've confirmed that you're on the right track, the next thing is training. So we want to help you support your customers in that detailed custom training, which is really simple as how to log into Prometha, how to sign up. If they really want to see what their operation is on, they have issues with stack temperature and this is what they want to look at every day, well, then you walk through that objective. You walk through how to do that, and also highlight some best practices. And if you have additional, things you need for training, our team is always here to help jump on a call and kind of help understand with those discovery how the customer can best utilize Prometha. But again, that training part is really an ongoing process as their needs and things evolve. It's that engagement, and this is the great opportunity for representatives and like yourself to continue to have that more advisor thing with your customers and give that support. But then the next thing is like data insights. So now they at least have a understanding how to log in, how to get notifications. Then this is where insights